This is Tbilisi, and for a decade, I've been telling you about this little-known city in the heart of Georgia. Today, we're going to show you how you can come here and live like a king. And we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look at my life here in Tbilisi with an amazingly unique Georgian fine dining experience that you can't find anywhere else. We're introducing you to my favorite Georgian sommelier to try a wide range of Georgian wines you've probably never heard of, trying fine cigars in Tbilisi's finest neighborhood, interviewing and spending lunch with Georgia's own Shark Tank star, and showing you my brand new home and Nomad Capitalist offices. But first, 9:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm not much of a morning person, which is actually perfect in Tbilisi because things here often start much later. The bank opens at 10 a.m. So you've dealt with the big two banks here, TBC, Bank of Georgia. You help people open accounts there. Their stocks had done very well until recently. There's a new law that was passed. Some people in the West are freaking out. Are the banks any less safe now that the stocks have gone down?
Yeah, I think it's a momentary blip. In the bigger picture, I don't think it will be affected.
They're also bringing in a law that you can bring your offshore assets to Georgia tax-free, which I have to be honest, I don't entirely understand.
It's mainly about moving company assets. Maybe you sell your shares, maybe you moving your company and relocation, so they won't be taxing you on that part.
I've chosen to live like a king in a number of different places. Tbilisi is a pied-à-terre. I have spent a good part of 1 or 2 years here. I'll come and see my team. I keep some money here. I make investments here. This is not my main home. And it doesn't have to be your main home either, but it's a place that could be a plan A, plan B, plan C, D, E. Georgia is the birthplace of wine. They have 8,000 years of winemaking, and that's why they call this cool wine shop 8,000 Vintages. We're going to get a bottle of wine for one lucky guest at Nomad Capitalist Live. It's one of my favorites. Come inside. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is Cuisine. So Cuisine is a white wine. I believe they're a little bit more dry, and I believe some of them are made in the kaveri, which is the old clay pots that you put actually in the soil, the old school of winemaking. The UN actually adjudicated that Georgia was the first country where evidence of winemaking existed, again, thousands of years ago, and they're very proud of that. And yet most people don't know of Georgia as a wine culture. I happen to think there's some of the best wines, and we're going to bring one to Nomad Capitalist Live.
Hey, Andrew.
No, hey.
How are you?
Oh, wow.
Good
to see you.
Good to see you.
This is your natural habitat.
Yeah, beautiful show.
Vaho used to have his own kaveri wine cellar. You turned your garage into an actual winemaking facility.
Exactly. Instead of putting car, I decided to put wine.
In Georgia, the wine comes before the car. They said that during the USSR, this grape was sent directly to Russia.
To Stalin, yes?
To Stalin's.
Yeah. Stalin liked this wine, if I remember well.
This is so unique to me, to Georgia, that someone who hasn't been here should experience it, and then they'll come. And maybe you'll renovate their apartment. So let's get this, and then we'll check out the house.
Sure.
Do we do Amex here with the new system? This is innovation at its best. So this is the new pied-à-terre. Vaho has been renovating all of our apartments and offices here for years. He also builds big, beautiful buildings. And let's take a look. It's 1,750 square feet, give or take. It's 161 square meters. What's happening here?
So it's quite old building. It's about 100 years or plus maybe. So we do all the renovation here, starting from floor. So now we are doing the piping for air conditioners. According to all the new standards, everything is done.
Great location, but old building.
Yes.
And so you come in and you rip everything out. There's a hole in the wall right here. There's a hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we start from scratch, basically.
Exactly. Let me show you something. Here we had an office, and when we took out all the old cabinets, what we found there,
you found a safe.
Safe in the wall.
Did you crack the safe?
It was hidden in the cabinets. Unfortunately, it was empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has to stay. We'll put a picture of it or something.
Of course. We have a very good designer who is doing this interior design, Tamar Kepiani, who did all this designing work. So
yeah, this is pretty affordable and pretty high quality. Even in some Western countries, you can't get people to easily do what she did with all this and the renders and everything. I bought this, I think, during the pandemic, like August of 2020, if I recall. No,
I think so, yeah.
No, August of 2021. And it was crazy because what I played for the old place was like 1,176 per meter, and I paid just under this. It was $182,000 for 161 meters, and then you get separately titled, I guess, the cellar is 16 meters. When I first met you in 2015, real estate was insanely cheap. It gradually went up, and then during the pandemic and then after the war, it just shot up even more. So I'm not exactly sure how I paid so little for this. What do you think it's worth today per square meter, just as it sits?
Since that time, the demand on real estate increased a lot. We can say it's the best location in Tbilisi. I think $3,000 per square meter is absolutely minimum now.
With or without renovation?
Even without renovation. And with the renovation plus, I don't know, 500, 900 maybe plus.
Now, we were just talking about how I was showing people in like 2017, 50 meters off Freedom Square, apartments for like $800 a meter that would be 5 times that price today, all these years later. It goes to show you have to find a place, get in early. It's been incredible. You can live like a king here because there are an increasing number of options. Georgian food is one of my favorite cuisines. I think Georgian wines are some of the best in the world. So you can eat, drink, and be merry like a king. And then when you match that with local people that you can easily become friends with, and they will invite you out, and you can have them come over. We've hired 20 people here. It's the biggest place that we have what we call citizens, our employees, anywhere in the world. And so there are people who are very efficient here, and yet you can just spend all evening with them sitting on the patio, drinking wine, having a conversation. Yeah, we bought the office in 2021, and I've done this numerous times since Tbilisi. I said, that's a little too expensive per meter. And right after I bought it, everything shot up. Tbilisi's been a place that I've enjoyed spending time over the years, but it's really become a business hub for me. And that's where I'm at now. We're going to be spending part of today talking about some of what we do at Nomad Capitalist, solving big business challenges. I think we've had some success in Portugal with banking, but Latvia I found underwhelming. Liechtenstein I found really underwhelming. It seems like Switzerland's kind of the same. But I mean, we're really testing the limits of have your company one place, you live personally one place, and the banking for each should be somewhere else.
Yes.
Go where you're treated best.
True.
What's really been impressive to me this year is we're really diversifying the client base. I understand Americans last month were like under 20% of the clients.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely have a higher level of diversification. We have clients from EU, we have clients from, Southeast Asia, from South America. I think, by serving clients from all over the world, you are creating more opportunities for U.S. citizens as well. Because like you mentioned, we have 80 plus employees in 17 different countries, and then we have vendors and partners, and having the optionality and, being able to make an informed decision about where you're going to go is obviously a big plus.
I was initially attracted to Georgia because of the former president, Mikhail Saakashvili, who went on an all-out campaign to bring foreign investors. And I said, that's a place that I want to see. It's not the most luxurious place in the world, but there's just a feeling in my soul that I like about it. There's an efficiency that I like. It's a tax-friendly place. It's back to being, I think, a very open to immigrate to place, even if you come here for a tourist on a 360-day tourist visa. It's a place that's open, and I think I tend to like open places. If you look at an open visa policy, that's probably a place that I'm going to be more than somewhere with a closed visa policy. So we're here at the Sheraton Grand. It's been invested in with money from the UAE. If you live in the US, you might think Sheraton. I mean, what is this, 1972? But the Sheraton brand has become a very high-level luxury brand in places like China. This is where a lot of the cool kids and some of our high-level friends and colleagues hang out. We're going to have an amazing lunch with the star from Georgia's Shark Tank. Hey.
Hey, Andrew.
Pavle. Roga.
Yeah, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Well, thank you for hosting us here in Georgia. This is great.
Thanks for having me here.
So you're like the Kevin O'Leary of Georgia. You are the shark on Shark Tank.
I would prefer Mr. Wonderful Georgian version, but yeah, that was part of the Shark Tank Georgia, yes.
And so, what brought Shark Tank to Georgia?
I think it's one of those projects that every country should have, because every country has the entrepreneurs, they're always looking for investment.
I met a handful of startup founders 6, 7, 8 years ago, and the goal for all of them was to go to the United States, go to Silicon Valley, get money, come back and build their business. Is that changing? Is there more capital coming directly into Georgia?
I still think that most of the people think that for you to be a successful entrepreneur, especially in the tech field, you have to be in San Francisco. But our thinking is that you'd better start the tech business in Georgia than in San Francisco. Because if you think about what's happening in the big tech cities, is that thousands of the tech recruiters are chasing after engineering talent. And imagine fighting against them to steal the talent from the big tech and try to recruit them in your startup. Good luck with that.
Does that say something about the ease of regulation here?
It's a lot easier to set up a business here in Georgia than anywhere else I personally know. We are operating multiple businesses in the US, and it's a pain in the back to operate there.
It's stressful.
It is. Even taxation is like insanely complicated versus in Georgia, it's like flat tax, everyone. Right?
And you don't pay if you reinvest the money.
Exactly, like Estonian model, right? So we shuffle the money between our startups without getting taxed, right? And we don't have like a wealth tax as Spain does, right? There's a lot of advantages being in Georgia. I look at the Georgia as a niche product, right? It has its own market, and everyone in the world's been to Paris and Switzerland and all over the Europe. People are looking for more exquisite destinations, and I think Georgia can definitely be one of those.
So you're saying you live in the US part of the year, you do business, but you like the lifestyle here?
Oh, absolutely. Like, quality of life compared to what you actually spend in Georgia is absurd. Why would you want to pay I don't know, like $3,500 for like a tiny bit of an apartment in the San Francisco city center where you can have a mansion in Georgia? Your dollar's gonna go a lot far.
Put the money back into your startup.
Exactly.
What are your tips for living like a king in Tbilisi?
Just move your ass over here and enjoy, right? If you have any type of savings, you're gonna find the same quality of the life with a lot cheaper cost, right?
It's good to talk to you.
Likewise. Very interesting chatting
Shark
with you.
Tank. I'm out.
I'm in. Okay, nice chatting with you.
So Georgia is known as the birthplace of wine. Today we're going to meet the same sommelier that entertained our entire team at last year's Citizen Summit. He's going to show us some of the best wines that Georgia has to offer. This is one of the coolest wine stores in Tbilisi. Let's take a look. Why do you think that Georgian wines aren't as well known around the world?
In general, we have the most like the ancient tradition of winemaking. We have the ancient clay vessel called Qvevri. Here we have it. And I think this is the visit card for Georgia because it represents our like the oldest method of winemaking, but we have many things to work on to get with the competition with some high quality countries. But I think we have some specific types of wines which are like the unique and very unfamiliar for some people. It's always better to serve these kinds of wines on more to room temperature because it balances the like the acidity and tannins.
These are both Qvevri wines.
Yes, but made in different regions with different technologies.
It's got a really interesting finish.
Yes. It has some specific dryness. Mostly when we make the wine in European style, we don't use the grape skin. But our tradition, Qvevri and Juri tradition, means that we must use the grape parts. We use the stalks, we use the stems, and we use the skin. Here we have the two different types of Saperavis from two different regions. The first Saperavis is from the middle part of Kakheti, made in traditional Qvevri style. And the last Saperavis will be from the upper part of Kakheti, and sometimes we call it like the Burgundy or Bordeaux for like the Georgia because this is the most dominant winemaking region. We are a very small country, but in like the different zones we have the completely different soils.
Microclimates as well.
Also microclimates because in the western part we have the Black Sea, and Black Sea always has the effect on the regions near it because it has some different like the humid levels on the soils and also in the microclimate. Some people call it like the black, not red like the red wine, some black wine, but it's very intensive, full, from very small family winery called Father and Son Cellar. This is like the production, and the maximum quantity of the bottles are like the 5,000, so it's very low. And yes.
What does such a low volume bottle cost?
This costs around 56 laris. And
56 lari?
Yes, 56
like 20 US dollars.
Yes.
$20 isn't a lot. Live like a king.
So this is the most expensive wine in our shop. This is the Saperavi 2005 vintage year from like the Saperavi grape. This is the most limited and one of the rarest wines in our shop, and it costs around 5,600 laris. It's very important for us to spread our traditional the grapes and wines. Also, we opened our new shop in Berlin, in Germany. We're always very ready and open to introduce this kind of tradition to many people.
I think the president should appoint an international wine ambassador, like an ambassador to the United Nations. And I will appoint myself to go around the world and sell the Georgian wines.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the country.
Thank you so much.
I'll wear the flag pin. In just a few minutes, we're going to be showing you a modern Georgian fine dining experience that gourmands say deserves a Michelin star and that has some of the best service anywhere in the region. But first, we're going to try some of the world's best cigars right here in Tbilisi. You can just feel the smoke hit you. I actually don't smoke. I've never smoked, but for some reason I find cigar culture interesting, so I will watch other people smoke. I love all the countries. Nicaragua, good residence program. Cuba, sorry, but you can't really do that. They're Honduran cigars. They have a few things going on. Nicaragua. You gotta get Nicaragua residence if you like Nicaragua cigars. You gotta match your passports with your favorite cigars. And while we're waiting to see some of the best cigars Tbilisi has to offer, this is a perfect time to tell you about Nomad Capitalist and how we can help you. We've helped close to 2,000 clients move to tax-friendly and tax-free countries, get second citizenships all over the world through ancestry and by investments and by starting businesses, diversify and protect their wealth in countries all around the world, and find new bull markets to take part in. Learn how we can help you legally reduce your taxes, create a portfolio of passports, and build a collection of pied-à-terres around the world so you can live like a king no matter where you go. Go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply and learn all about it.
My name is Rudik.
Rudik.
Yeah.
Look at her. So we have some of the best cigars here in Tbilisi. These are the best we have. Where are these from? Tell us about it.
The first one is for Davidoff cigars. This is a Dominican cigars, but vapor is for mix for Dominicana, Mexico, and Nicaragua. The Grand Cruceria of Davidoff cigars is one of the first cigar. It's all Dominican cigars, and it's medium, non-strong one. Is good for the wine.
With wine?
Wine, yes.
What kind of wine would you drink that with?
French wine is for Chardonnay. But in Georgia, with a dry wine, red dry wine.
Like a Saperavi?
The Saperavi, yeah, of course. Mukuzani also.
Mukuzani, yeah.
Mukuzani, yeah.
Is the Dominican the best place?
Dominican is good cigars.
Good residence permit country. So we're going to go and have fine dining, but for me, part of living like a king is you want to treat yourself every once in a while. As an Ohio boy, Georgia once had the world's largest Wendy's, and we're going to go in and just get a little bite on our way to the fine dining. Ori burgerebi, erti ar kaveli, otashvili lari. For $10, we get 2 junior Wendy's combo meals with fries and a drink. I guess you get your own drink, and an M&M Frosty. So we're here at Barbaristan, some of the best service you will get anywhere in Georgia. People say it deserves a Michelin star. We're going to find out why. Andrew, I hear you're Andrea.
Andrea.
Pleasure.
Maka.
Maka.
I'm mother from.
Nice to meet you. Let's first talk about the service, though.
Right.
It's a family business. Everyone's involved, and you care, and there's passion.
Right.
And people pick up on that.
Yes, this is, I think, one of the main soul and the idea and the spirit of our restaurant, because I'm mainly involved to receiving all the guests at Barbaristan. And our main idea was not to differentiate the guests. Every guest is a gift from the God.
It's the Georgian
and
saying.
To give the experience, which should be one of the memorable in our country, in Tbilisi, in Georgia.
Georgian cuisine is one of the most interesting to me in the world. Is this more traditional? Is this more modern?
So this book is our main Bible, which my father founded in a flea market in 2015, very suddenly. And afterwards we got an idea and a concept to create restaurant Barbarestan, because this cookbook was created by the Duchess of Barbara Georgiadze, who was the first feminist woman in Georgia, culinary writer, and created in 1874 first culinary cookbook, which consists with around 900 unique Georgian recipes. We have revived more than 400 recipes for last, I would say, 8 years. My profession is butler, studying in International Butler Academy in Netherlands.
So that's what makes the service so great, is that international experience, the training, combined with this historical Georgian cuisine. That's a great combination.
We will experience the beautiful fresh Georgian salad. When we do at home the nice Georgian tomato and cucumber salad, we dress it with sunflower oil, Cajetian vinegar, a lot of pepper, fresh seasonal herbs. Afterwards we will also go through the Meskhetian cuisine and we will experience the authentic Georgian Tsintsabadze. This is one of the must experiences of our updated and new menu.
Hey Matt, because you're the organizer and the license holder for TEDx in Tbilisi, and I did a talk last December. So you have the, is it Miss Caucasus?
Yes.
And so how does that work? It's a beauty pageant across the Caucasus,
Yes.
South Caucasus?
So I'm having girls from Seoul Caucasian area. Whoever takes first place, we are going abroad for next beauty pageant.
We have Miss Indonesia coming to our event, Nomad Capitalist Live.
When?
In September in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah. And you're importing homeware brands.
Yes.
From US, UK.
UK, from Ukraine, Japan, from Hong Kong.
What does it say about Georgia to have all these brands coming for the first time? It must mean people have more money to spend. People want new products.
A lot of people are renovating houses, and also there is a high demand on this type of business. So that's why.
Well, you're the real estate expert. Is there a housing shortage? I mean, prices have gone up a lot.
Right now, shortage is for lands in Tbilisi. There is a lot of companies who is coming to us, and they want to buy land, but we have no lands in Tbilisi.
This is not finished yet. We should serve you now the hot and refreshing bouillon, which is based on dried matsoni and fresh vegetables. The idea and the history of this plate comes from Meskhetian region. We call it Tsintsabadze, and authentically it is just freshly made dough with matsoni, a little bit of the onion and garlic. So we always say to our guests, if you want to remember what is the real Georgian flavor, this is one of the unique flavors which will remind you the Georgian gastronomy. Please, Mr. Andriy. And we will serve also the beautiful chacha with the soup. And I highly recommend to have the small zip before you will have the soup, and the small zip after you will finish the soup to clean the palate.
All right. A toast to our meeting. Welcome to everyone. The best and the brightest Georgia has to offer. So we end a beautiful day here in Tbilisi with a meal in one of the best restaurants in this region. You've taken a behind-the-scenes look at my home, at Nomad Capitalist operations, but you've seen some of the places where people in Tbilisi want to hang out. You've heard from successful business people that this is a place you can come. And so, let's all raise a glass to living like a king in Georgia. Gamarjos.